Thank you for joining. We're just waiting on a couple people to get on in here. Ooh. Let's see.
Standout online membership.
All right. Ooh, yeah. We here though. We here. It is a challenge already, a challenge. Accept the challenge. Accept the challenge. So, I am trying to give people a couple more time, a little bit more time to get in. Whew. Y'all on what's this thing called, baby? Facebook and stuff, y'all. I'm sorry. I tried my best. It won't let me do nothing else. It won't let me do nothing else. So y'all hold tight. Those of y'all on IG, hello, hello. I am trying to get it together. All right, all right, all right. I know it is time. It is time. It is time. It is time, baby. So I will do my best to be mindful of your time. I am so grateful to have you here. So good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to my R2Cs, my Real Resilient Conversation crew. It is Monday, 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 and what a pressing Monday it has been. Y'all hear me? Pressing, pressing, baby. I'm pressing. I am definitely pressing today. So I am still trying to get everything squared away and moved, and woo, I am struggling, y'all. Struggling. Uh, so what we gonna do, y'all? Pray my strength in the Lord. That's what I'm gonna ask of y'all. Pray my strength. It has been trying. So for those of you that are here, welcome back to our Monday end of month fill up. I am so grateful to have you here. If you're alone, snuggled up, with your special somebody, you watching it live or on rebroadcast, I sincerely want to thank you for joining today. It is with great honor that I am before you as we talk about topics that I have researched. So it's usually got some type of quirky or silly or crazy topic that goes along with it. And that is usually just to keep you on your toes. So, Mom, thank you so much for joining. Hello. So what we want to do is give you the opportunity to look at resiliency in a different way. So I'd like to look at it in different perspectives. And by doing that, gives you a different way of teaching and learning it, if that makes sense. So do me a favor, like, share, subscribe for more content. If not for yourself, then for those who may or may not know who I am and the things that we have to offer here on Real Resilient Conversations. So those of you that already know, it is time for my bi-weekly returnees. It is your time. It is your turn to go ahead and give us your thoughts on what you think today's topic, rush hour, has to do with resiliency. And I know whenever you think about resiliency, you're like, rush hour and resiliency don't really marry up, Quita. Where are you getting this from? And so what I want to do is really give you the opportunity to, in the chat below, give me your thoughts on where you feel like it's coming from when I say resiliency and rush hour. And the reason that I'm asking is because this is a conversation, y'all. This is not just about Quita. So since it is a conversation, I really want you to have the opportunity to voice your opinion about it too. And so with that, while you're typing down there in the chat and you're giving your thoughts on how resiliency and rush hour are able to marry up. Who remembers the movie Rush Hour? Anybody remember Rush Hour? It was like a hit, right? Everybody knew about Rush Hour. Everybody knew about Jackie Chan. Everybody knew about Chris Tucker. They knew the words to it, right? It was a hit, right? And if you know the gist of the movie, the gist of it is that they were two people who really didn't like each other, but they had to work together in order for it to work. And when they worked together, then it brought about, they realized that they had to solve the case on their own because the people that were supposed to be supporting them decided you're on your own. So how many of us have been down that road, right, where you thought you had a support system, you thought you had a good support team, and then you realize you're doing it all on your own. And the movie Rush Hour really has some good resiliency points in it, and I just really wanted to kind of use that as our focal point for tonight, but to also go a little further. And so when you think about rush hour in your life, what type of things do you feel like you're rushing? Relationships, parenting, career, transitions, retirement, driving, homework, appointments. So whenever you're thinking about all of these different things or ways that you have looked into rushing, right? How do you feel like it relates to your resiliency? Do you feel like it has some merit to it? Meaning, do you feel like it is it has some validity to it? Does that make sense? And if so, then I'm just going to ask you this. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Because we all at some point in our lives are at a place where, or have been at a place where we feel that whatever we're trying to do or wherever we're trying to go, it takes twice as long or 3 times as long to get there. And it becomes very frustrating, very debilitating for some. And it does feel like a rush hour. Like I am sitting in traffic waiting to get to where I need to be. And you're like, I don't have time, right? And it seems like you want to move, but you can't. So how many of us have been at that place to where you want to move? Everything in you is saying it's time to move, but you can't. And how does that make you feel when you're asking yourself, why am I even rushing? And what are some things that you feel like are holding you back from getting to your expected end? And whenever I was doing my research and I was thinking about it, it really hit me hard because this transition with retirement has hit me hard. For the simple fact, when I'm thinking about the financial piece, when I'm thinking about the financial piece, I'm thinking about what am I going to do? Where am I going to work? All of those things end up being a part of my rush hour because I feel like I have to get it done now. I need to make these moves. I need to do this now. And the now has put me at a place where I feel like I am stuck. I can't go forward. I can't go backwards. I'm stuck. And so my rush hour became very real to me, if that makes sense, y'all. And so let's go through some of the things that people actually rush into. All right. And I kind of tried to think about some of my teenagers. So if I have some teenagers that are watching, y'all buckle on up. Okay. So some of the things that people rush into, sex. And usually, why do people rush into sex? Now think about it. Before you gave up your innocence, you wanted to experience it because that's what everybody else was doing. Everybody else had a way that they was talking about. It's so amazing. Oh, I can't wait. You need to experience this. And what? It was just like, oh, right? And I really wanted to bring that up because even with today's society is telling us that we need to be engaging in those interactions in order for you to have a successful relationship. And how many of us have felt like you have lost out because you were agreeing with that and you were giving into that? And also, whenever I thought about that, marriage, I did the same thing. I jumped into marriage. I rushed into marriage because I thought that I was losing out on time. I thought that was, I didn't have enough time to wait. And I thought that I would be old and by myself. And so I jumped into a marriage. I rushed into a marriage. And then I realized that I still felt alone. I still felt like I didn't have anyone. And so with that, you are losing, right? You're losing who you are in the midst of you rushing, right? You're still giving a piece of yourself, whether it be good or bad. You're still giving a piece of yourself by rushing, right? That goes for any relationships, entering and exiting relationships. Relationships, you just don't want to be alone. This is cuffing season. If y'all watch Pastor Mike Todd from Transformation Church, that cuffing season, I think they in like week 14 or something. Cuffing season is real, y'all. People don't want to be alone. It's cold. Everybody want to be snuggled up. In Transformation Church, they just did a segment on cuffed to the cuddle, and it was real. If y'all haven't seen it, please go back and watch because it's going to be all up in your business for my single folks. And exiting relationships, meaning that you are trying to get out of relationships for the simple fact you don't like how they said something, or you don't like how they dressed, or you didn't like, and these are things that you kind of should have been paying attention to beforehand, and you did not give yourself the opportunity to do so. So that is where the hard conversation comes in. Now that is the time where you should be conversing with your mate to talk about the things that you like and the things that you don't like and how you all can come to an agreement on fixing them. What about, okay, Mom, I see that you're saying work. All right. You rush into work usually because you're late. And then you stuck behind people that you can't deal with. You like, move out the way. I am bad when it comes to road rage. I am like, I have to take deep breaths. I have to be like, you're gonna get there. It's gonna be okay. It's bad, y'all. Very bad. My mama knows. She done been in the car with me. Another thing, having children or not having children. People are rushing to not have children. And I remember hearing someone say that they were rushing to have a vasectomy or to get their tubes tied or to have a hysterectomy because they didn't want kids. And I'm like, don't you think that's just a little, you're rushing that decision? What if you come across someone and you decide that you want to do that? Now you've made a eternal or a long-term decision on a short-term thought. The same thing with having children. How many people, y'all know people that got 10, 11 children, they rushed into it because they like that person and they just wanted to have a baby. Or you're newlyweds and then you rush off to have a baby and you haven't even had time to experience each other or love on each other or support each other. And that can cause a strain. And so with our rushing, it leads to an opportunity of possible failure or possible problems. You are opening up the door for more problems. And so the same thing goes with making big purchases. When you're in relationships or even when you're single, what you have to do is make sure that you are discussing or you are evaluating what's the best move when it comes time for big purchases, houses, cars, land, adopting children. Adopting children is a big purchase, not just monetarily, but emotionally, mentally, because you never know, right? And so these big purchases, some people rush into it, and I am guilty of trying to do so because I wanted to have a child. So I was like, I'm just going to adopt. That fixes that. And when we rush, then we end up, for example, my financial situation would not have been the best if I had a child, right? Starting a business without doing the pre-work. Everybody's getting LLCs, baby. Everybody. Like, I'm about to make it. I'm about to be rich. So everybody is into starting a business. However, they haven't done the pre-work. They don't know their audience. They don't know, right, what it takes in order to build their business. So when they are lacking or they are not getting the results, sometimes it does just take time for the results. And other times it's due to our lack of planning, our lack of training, our lack of understanding, our lack of mentors, that we put our business in a bad place. For example, I had a food truck. I loved my food truck. It was just in a bad location. So no matter what I did, no matter where I went, it was still in a bad location. So I didn't get the result that I expected to get. If I had my food truck here in San Antonio, that would be a different business. That would be a different situation, a different conversation. And so when we are looking at things like we stated, work, marriage, relationships, children, big purchases, starting businesses, you have to look at, are we rushing or are we really taking the time to evaluate, to bump it up against realistic goals versus futuristic goals? And I think I usually live in the futuristic, which also is it puts me at a bad place sometimes. But I am one to go for the risk, baby. If it's there, I'm willing to try it. And I think that it still challenges us because then we'll talk about some of the things that we will get out of or we should be getting instead of rushing later on in the show here. So what about eating too fast? How many of y'all get a plate and y'all scarf it down in like 5 minutes and everybody else around you is just taking their time? You like, why you ain't done? For people that joined the military, that's how we were. We were told you got 5 minutes, see, you better get it down that hole right now. And so usually that's what happened. So we didn't get a chance to savor what we ate. We just ate. And with that, getting a job, with that, eating too fast usually gave you some type of gastro effect. You have hiccups, you got indigestion because you haven't had the time to allow your body to enjoy. So it gives a reaction. With every action, there is a reaction, right? So next, let's talk about getting a job or quitting a job. So can I be transparent with y'all? Can I be hot? Can I be honest, open, and transparent real quick? That's a transformation thing too. Honest, open, and transparent. I have been rushing to get a job. Come 1 December, I will be a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. I have been panicking, looking for a job. Panicking, looking for a job. And I kept wondering why nothing was working. It was because I was rushing it. And when I rush, then I put myself at a disability, right? Because then I may be missing out on the very thing that I'm supposed to have. All because I'm rushing to just find something. And in finding something, you put yourself at a place to where nothing seems to be happening. I'm stuck, waiting, looking, hoping, praying, right? For those of you that already have a job, quitting a job. You don't like how somebody looked at you. You don't like how she said that. You don't like how he don't pay you no mind. I'm quitting. If you quit, do you have something else to back it up? Especially if you have children, you have other people that you're responsible for. Us rushing to make a decision without looking at the realistic, the in-depth meaning of where we should be, then it puts us once again at a disadvantage. Ooh, y'all. Ooh, what about this? Rushing to become an adult. How many of y'all used to be like, I can't wait till I'm grown. Ooh, when I'm grown, I'm gonna do. Ooh, when I'm grown, I'm gonna go. Ooh, when I'm grown, I'm gonna drink. All of the people that said, when I'm an adult, when I'm grown, and now you grown and you like, oh, I wish I was still in the 5th grade. Oh, I wish I was still living in my mama's house. Let them pay for me instead of me paying all these bills. So now that you have become an adult, when you used to wish that you were an adult, what are you regretting? What are you wishing that you hadn't said? Now what about this? Let me think. Giving your opinion before it's asked. Somebody is telling you what's going on and the person continues to interject while you're speaking. How many of you, because I'm one of those, I usually do this. And they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I figured I would wait for you to finish. And once you're finished, I guess I can continue on with my story. I mean, well, go ahead, do what you do. You felt like you needed to speak, so I'm going to allow you to speak. I'll wait. The rush for someone to interject, it is a frustrating thing, right? Make sure that if you are that person, that you slow down, allow the person to get their thought out, and then you give your response. Or you say, do you mind if I give you my opinion? Do you mind if I give you some advice? And if they say, no, I'm good, I don't want it, then suck it up, swallow that thought, swallow that opinion, swallow that advice, chop it up to the next person who wants it, right? What about judgment? Ooh, how many people do you know are judgmental, or they think that they know someone when they really don't? I used to, Tasha says she's guilty. Ooh, Tosh, we're going to work on that, sis. People that are judgmental, they looking at what you're wearing, they looking at how you dress, they looking at why you wear makeup, why you wear head wrap, why you wear. And then my question is, you're more than welcome to figure out who I am, to learn who I am, versus you assuming who I am. Assuming, to me, falls hand in hand with that judgmental aspect. And so I'm like, get to know me, get to know who I am, figure out why I enjoy wearing makeup. Do you know that I sell Mary Kay? Of course not. Do you know that I do Primerica? So I want to make sure that I look appealing to my customers. Did you know that? Of course not. So then it becomes a, well, you don't have to do all that to get customers. No, but I feel more confident when I do it. Do you understand where that came from? Now, getting to the root of the person can help with that judgment thought process, right? Rushing to judgment, rushing to reach a goal or to quit a goal. You set a goal, it's almost the end of the year. How many of you have already achieved the goals that you set out to do? And how many have not? So what I did is I found my list that I had at the beginning of the year. And I said, did I really? No, I didn't. I wasn't prepared and I didn't follow through. And so it's not me quitting my goal. I said, well, Quiggy, you still got a month. I'm sure there's something you can knock out on this list. What are we doing to prepare ourselves to get ourselves to reaching that goal before we quit? Are we rushing to a goal and not really learning the lessons along the way? Or are we quitting a goal because it becomes too hard? And we feel like this is too much. I can't do it, so I'm not going to do it at all. It happens. But my challenge is to say, instead of rushing to quit or rushing to get to that goal, if it is meant to happen, enjoy the lessons along the way. All right. Last but not least, I want to talk about writing a book. Anybody out there writing a book right now? Anybody started one and then kind of let it fizzle on out because life got to you? You ran out of time. You ran out of energy. You got some life situations that came about, right? How many have just rushed to quit writing a book because you don't have the time? Or you rushed to put a book together just so you can say that you had a book out and then you didn't get the sales that you were expecting because the reviews didn't give you exactly the way that you were trying to portray it because you rushed through it. And because I'm in the process of wanting to get my thoughts out, I'm going to use my best friend to be my editor, since that is her thing, to kind of help me get through that. I really want to encourage somebody that writing your book doesn't have to be rushed. Take your time. Take your time, bro. Take your time, sis. Do what you need to do for you. Okay. So do you know that rushing causes decision fatigue? So you're rushing all day, you're rushing to get the kids to school, you're rushing to go to work, you're rushing to get dinner cooked, you're rushing. And then by the time your spouse, your mates, your sister, your brother, your mother, your cousin, your aunties ask you a question, you like, I don't care, whatever you want to do. Why? Because you've been rushing all day. You're tired of making decisions. The decision fatigue, because you have had so many split decisions that you've had to make just to get to your one decision. In the midst of it, you're like, I'm tired. I don't want to make decisions no more. I'm tired of making decisions. I know in the military, that was my big thing. I always said, I've been making decisions all day. I'm not making decisions by the time I get home. Don't ask me what we eating. You should have figured it out before I got here. Because when we rush, we miss out on the lessons that we're supposed to be learning. We stop trusting the process. That's me. I don't trust the process. I'm going to be honest with y'all. That is something that I struggle with, is trusting the process. And we forget how to be present in the moment, which means that we lose out on everything else that's going on, everything else that's beautiful around us. We miss out on it because we are so focused on the rush, on getting to X, Y, and Z, on getting to the place that we want to be. So another word of encouragement is to bloom where you're planted. So do you think a plant rushes to reach the sun as a root? As a root, it doesn't even know what the sun is, where the sun is. It doesn't know that it needs oxygen, just like a baby, right? So it depends on what's around it to help. And what that means is that sometimes the people around you, the things around you, those are the people and the things that help to give you the nutrients and the nurturing that you need. When you don't have the energy to pray, you find you some people that can pray for you. When you don't have the mindset to know what to do to get to the next level, you find the people that do. Find the people that do. Do you know that the plant depends on the sun to warm the soil, and they don't even know it? It's people in your life that are praying for you, that are providing to you, that are supporting you, that you have no idea who they are, where they are. This is the opportunity for you to appreciate them, right? The plant depends on the worm that burrows through to allow air, oxygen, to get to the roots. If there's other things and other people around you to help you get through these times of growth and development. So who is in your environment to help you to grow? Do you think that food is better crammed in and down your throat or savored? Do you think that the song that you listen to is better better played in real time or on fast forward? For those of you who had a cassette, we were able to fast forward through songs and you could kind of hear it in the background. So is it better played on fast forward or allow it to play in real time? And because rushing leads to a state of resistance and anxiety, and I understand it to the fullest extent. The feeling of lack, feeling of not enough. Ben Franklin said, take your time for all things. Great haste makes great waste. I don't want to waste my time because I'm rushing to get to something, if that makes sense, y'all. So my big thing is, how can you use this information in your life? How can you transform a rush hour and really think about and reflect on your day-to-day when it comes to your your resiliency? So with that being said, I am already 3 minutes over my time. I hope that y'all enjoyed tonight's show. I pray I've said something to jumpstart your resiliency with your present, your future, and the future generations to come. If I said something that touched you, my prayer is that you would share it, like it, subscribe. If not for you, then for someone else that you think is in need of hearing a good word. So once again, I ask that you come back on 12 December for the topic presence. So December 12th, we're going to talk about presence. Trust me, it's going to be a good one. So when y'all think of presence, are y'all thinking about the ones with the little bow on there? Or are you thinking about presence like, yeah, so presence. So until then, same time, same place with the same face. Y'all, please go out and share it if it has blessed you in any way. Those of you watching on YouTube and Facebook, I see the banner is scrolling. Please make sure that you follow me on my labels, my tags that are there. Those are on Instagram. I'm going to try and get it in there somehow, okay? Y'all pray that I figure this thing out. Until then, I love y'all. Peace, joy, and happiness over your life. I pray for you. Until then, hugs and kisses. See you soon. Bye.